Hi, my name is Karen Slesher, and this is my Mod 4 for Educational Leadership. In sitting down with my principal and breaking down the rubrics, we started off with rigor, and here she and I both agreed that we were probably in a transitioning point. A couple of the areas that we identified as strengths for us come down to the district's CTE long-term planning. I also identified that as an area for improvement within our school, because we definitely need more opportunities within our specific high school and we need more partnerships with people outside of the building. But we have a vision, a district vision, to have a district-wide high school implemented in the next year for students who want to pursue CTE opportunities. Other areas for strength for us is that we have a collective responsibility for student learning. We very much believe in supporting one another and supporting all of the students. It's not just our own kids. It's really it takes a village mentality within our school. And a lot of that comes down to our practices surrounding professional learning, collecting data, and then also monitoring our progress. Other areas that we can improve would be within our communicating standards to families, to students, to making sure that people understand what it is that students are expected to learn and how they're going to learn it. I also think it's important for us to consistently look at our resources to identify what they are and how we can maybe better use some of the resources that we have. And then I also think we need to have more district trained employees for the study of data. We have one person in our building who's been trained, and he helps us break down in all the different departments, but in a school of 2,800 students and over 200 faculty, it's probably important to have more than just him in terms of being able to break down and understand data well. Our responsive culture would definitely be modeling. I think that we are really strong in this area, and I highlighted quite a few components within this, but one of the biggest things is that the district has a clear-cut vision, and that vision is translated to all of us. We understand that learning communities are a big part of who we are, and we make that something that's worthwhile for who we are. We like to collaborate with the community. We like to understand their perspectives and know what they think we need to kind of bring in. We want to hear from the families. We want to hear from the students, and it really makes us a part of who we are. The district is very big on data analysis. It drives our leadership, it drives our teaching, it drives pretty much everything that we're doing in there. And I think a lot of that comes down to how we establish our roles, our expectations, responsibilities. And then I think it's also big in terms of who we are to provide opportunities for leadership for other people. We have a lot of teacher leaders within our building, and it's the same district-wide. We also very much put value in student learning. We want our students to come out of the Cherry Creek school system with some of the best learning that they could have received. And a lot of that comes back to understanding the data for how our students are learning and making sure that we're consistently adjusting based on those needs. We also have a strong social engagement within our community. We want students to be a part of the school. We want the families to be a part of the school system. And we want to make sure that they understand how they can get involved. And then we also have a very safe and supportive school system. We work with an amazing police department to provide safety. We also work with a great fire department who's consistently coming in and evaluating the safety of our schools, and it's clear that it is a holistic vision in terms of what that looks like and making sure that the wellness is something that is not forgotten. It's definitely a part of who we are. Relevance for us, I would say we're in the implementing or the transitioning areas, and some of this came down to my principal and I talking about how things change so frequently, and so it's hard to consistently be on the modeling side, and I think it's always good to reevaluate where you're at and what you need to do based on how education has shifted over the years. Some of our strengths would be curriculum development. One of my principal's comments was how we regularly allow for departments to revisit curriculum and to redevelop based on the changes that have potentially happened over the last few years. We have solid instruction. We consistently are challenging one another to have better instruction and to look at ways to implement new ways of learning. Part of that comes in through our professional learning, and some of that comes in through just the high level of content knowledge that the teachers bring to the table. We also have a great technology leader who's established some solid infrastructure and consistent support for us. However, in terms of improving here, I think we really need to look at vertical alignment. A lot of the departments look within the building, but it's something that needs to happen district-wide in terms of making sure that we're connecting to the middle schools who feed into our school to make sure that things work. I also think that we need to focus on individualized plans of study. We do a very good job for kids with special needs here, but we definitely don't do a good job looking at each individual student to identify what really is the best thing for them. My principal and I also talked about how we're trying to establish more and more student-to-student opportunities. It's been one of her main goals, and I think it's coming through in a lot of what we're doing, but we're just not there in terms of having those opportunities really exist. We also definitely need more time to do just different technology lessons and practices so that the teachers can really make use of the technology that we've been given and can implement that in a way that helps improve learning. Our relationship area is really strong as well. I would say we're transitioning or modeling in this category, and a lot of that comes down to some of the things that we've implemented. We have the STAR mentor system, which provides a mentor for every brand new teacher for the first year of teaching. We also have professional learning teams that we meet with every week. We have in-building staff mentors for newer teachers to the building and for people who are just looking for that support. We also have what we call the Primo student group, which is a group of student leaders pulled from different areas of the school to really look at how we establish relationships, how we connect students, and how we make sure that everyone feels a part of the Eagle Crest community. And then we also have constant training and meetings to connect faculty and parents. So these are opportunities for parents and faculty members to come together to look at the needs of the students in the school. We also have parent surveys that go out during the freshman and senior years so that allows parents to communicate to us what they think we need to do better on and what they think we're doing well so that we can make sure that we're providing the right support systems for all students at all levels. We have multiple channels for communication. We want to make sure our community is engaged, and so we know that they can figure out what's going on based on all of these different aspects. And then we definitely have the connections with the community. The community is part of who we are, and they are very much a part of our success, and without them I don't think we would be nearly as strong as we are. And then every year we do some sort of fundraising event within the community to make sure that we're supporting either a member of the community or a group within the community. So for example, this year we are doing a fundraising event for the American Heart Association, which is meant to honor a coach of ours who actually passed away from a heart attack earlier this year. My principal's leadership style is definitely democratic. 10 years ago, I would have immediately said autocratic. She kind of ruled with an iron fist in those first few years of being a principal, but I think she had to. And so I guess you could say in a sense that she might be situational, but I would say for the last six years or so, for sure, she's definitely been democratic. She values the other voices in the school. She wants to hear perspective from the other administrators, from the other teachers, and she wants to make sure that she's implementing practices that make sense for the entire community. I think this is something that she firmly believes in, and that she thinks that we're better together. We're stronger, we make better choices, and so I would say she's definitely a democratic leader. For improvement, I think we really need to focus on data training. We thrive on data, we study data all the time, but I don't think that enough of us are probably trained in terms of breaking down the data like we need to be. We also need to really look at how do we implement individualized plans of study for all students in a large school. So I don't know what the answer is for that, but it's probably something that our school could definitely get a lot better at. And then we also need to make sure that, while there are opportunities at this new high school, that the CTE opportunities are extended to our students in ways that make sense. So we need to make sure the staff is trained and understands what that new school is going to look like and how we can help support our students in terms of taking advantage of those. And then we also want to make sure that we're implementing technology at opportune times. Our district has a history of bringing in new technology partway into the school year, so it makes it tough for teachers to really explore it and understand it and use it in ways that will enhance student learning. And then we need to continue with the student-to-student learning. We need to make sure that we're tapping into this new group that we have and really using that to make sense of what we have out there. We have some great student-to-student learning opportunities, but it's something that we definitely know we can continue to grow. And then we also need to make sure that we're recognizing the standards on the school website. It's not the most exciting thing, but it's really important that parents and students and community members understand what it is that students are supposed to be learning, so that they can understand maybe some more of the decisions that we're making as a school, and that they can consistently check and make sure that we're providing what they need to have. It's been really interesting looking at a different state's accreditation process, and I hope that My principles and my conversation kind of helps us even look at how we're connecting. I know I talked about vertical alignment, but it's important, I think, across states, across districts, to make sure that we're aligning in ways that provide students with the same opportunities. Thank you.